Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Monday, October 27th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. The Pacific trough that brought widespread precipitation to Northern California this weekend has now moved on into the northern Great Basin, and high pressure is beginning to rebuild over California. Thanks to some lingering moisture at the surface from that system, as well as continued deep marine layer over Southern California, there are quite a bit of low clouds spread over the region this morning. The coastal low clouds should clear fairly quickly over the next few hours, but the clouds banked up across the slopes surrounding the San Joaquin Valley will probably be more stubborn. As high pressure builds in as the day goes on, mostly sunny skies will become dominant, and today should be another beautiful day across our region with seasonable temperatures and mostly light winds. Today's temperatures are expected to be similar to what they were on Sunday, though maybe a few degrees warmer due to building high pressure. Highs will be around seasonal normal, with 70s to low 80s common across the lower terrain, especially for Southern California. The valleys of Central California may remain a bit cooler in the upper 60s as the high pressure is building in from the south to north, so it will take another day for them to warm up. Humidity will lower a bit today as compared to Sunday, thanks to the building high pressure, with minimums mostly in the 20 to 40% range for most areas, except drier across the deserts and higher peaks, and a bit higher across the San Joaquin Valley. Breezy northerly winds will continue through this morning across the higher terrain of Southern California associated with the departing trough. Here is a look at some of our current wind observations this morning. You can see winds are mostly light overall, but some localized areas are gusting at least 30 miles an hour. As the trough continues to depart to the east, winds will weaken a little and turn northeasterly this afternoon. Unlike last week, the forecast for this week is going to be quite persistent, with high pressure being the dominant weather feature. I already mentioned earlier that high pressure will start to build in over California today from south to north. It is expected to strengthen a little going into the middle of this week, then remain in place through at least next weekend. This weather pattern is going to bring us back into a summertime feel, with above normal temperatures and low humidity. No precipitation is on the horizon as we go into early November. Temperatures will strongly warm on Tuesday for most areas, especially for areas of Southern California south and west of the coastal slopes, due to some weak to locally moderate offshore winds. More on this in a little bit. These areas are expected to warm into the 80s, with some lower 90s across the warmer valleys, which is at least around 10 degrees above seasonal normal. A similar temperature forecast is expected on Wednesday. With high pressure dominating, warmer than normal temperatures are expected to continue through the rest of the week and into next weekend, though slightly cooler than Tuesday and Wednesday's peak. Weak to locally moderate Santa Ana winds are likely across the wind-prone ridgetops, canyons, and valleys of Southern California on Tuesday, with gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour common. Localized gusts of 45 to 50 miles an hour are possible over windier spots at times. These winds will be driven by a surface pressure gradient from strong surface high pressure over the Intermountain West and lower pressure over California. There is very weak upper-level wind support to enhance these winds because the departing trough I mentioned earlier will not dig far south into the Four Corner states and will instead remain farther north. This means that these winds will be mostly light overall and do not have much staying power. Weaker offshore winds are expected on Wednesday, with some lingering breeziness across the higher terrain. Then winds will return to weakly onshore later this week. With high pressure remaining dominant and weak offshore winds coming in, minimum humidity will drop around the 8 to 20% range away from the San Joaquin Valley and its surrounding foothills Tuesday and Wednesday. Areas of poor overnight recoveries will be common in the higher terrain and deserts, as well as windier areas. The combination of this low humidity with weak to locally moderate offshore winds on Tuesday will lead to areas of elevated to briefly critical fire weather conditions over portions of Southern California. However, no red flag warnings are anticipated, and recent precipitation remains a limiting factor for large fire potential. Once winds return to weakly onshore later this week, humidity will improve a little, though it will remain quite dry still. The large fire threat will remain very low today as benign weather conditions continue alongside increased humidity and recent precipitation from earlier this month. Breezy, warm, and dry conditions will cause the large fire threat to increase a little over Southern California on Tuesday, but it will still remain low overall due to antecedent moisture and a lack of widespread strong winds. Even though it will continue to be warm and dry Wednesday through next weekend, the potential for a large fire will remain low due to light winds. though we do have to keep in mind that the prolonged period of warm and dry conditions will cause a significant decrease in dead fuel moistures this week, likely leading to a gradual increase in fire potential as we go into November. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Tuesday, October 28th. Have a fantastic day.